talking about.
You want dry skin?
No.
So you want to talk about being black?
It's just so much enrichment, history.
Filled with culture.
That guy pulled us over because he was trying to catch someone else. You gotta support your people. You gotta love your people. You gotta show love to one another. It's being the followed when you enter a store.
There's so much space in the parking lot.
Over 12 million people.
So much of it, but so little of it is being taught.
I respect everyone. I show everyone love. I expect.
Learn something different each year in February about Black History Month, or have you learned the same thing every year?
It's a good question. There are people who invented things, but education, male and female, people talk about the negative. We talk about the positive.
It feels awesome.
So that's something I think needs to change. Yeah.
I feel great. I love being black.
What's up, people? I do.
What's going on, everyone? Hope everyone's out there keeping safe and healthy.
Hope everything is good. Your family, your friends, keeping safe, doing what you can.
And I can't wait till the day we don't have to wear masks anymore.
Yes.
And walk around with them.
Yeah, it's bad for your health. It's not good cutting off the circulation to your brain. Brain needs that oxygen, especially when you got to work at work all day.
And I did hear that people are starting to develop breathing problems now.
It's 100% what's going to happen. Yeah, because you inhale your carbon dioxide. Monoxide, that's supposed to.
Yeah.
That's supposed to enable what you breathe out. Exhale.
So,
Yeah. The skin.
you want dry skin?
No, not dry skin, don't you? The color.
The color skin.
The color skin.
So you want to talk about being black?
Yes. That permanent suntan.
Okay, what about being black?
What about being black? Oh man. I don't even know where to start.
It's true. I've got a lot of places you can start.
It's a complicated color. But yet so magnificent, so beautiful. It's just so much enrichment, history. It's where do you even start? How do you even start? You can go from all the way back to when we're not starting at slavery. We know that's not the proper way or start to anything. Talking about before, it was geology, astronomy, science, math, art, music, dance, just expression before that 400-year nightmare.
Very true.
It's just beautiful thing. So much history is like it's kind of, how do you even learn all of it? It's so much.
You know what? There's it's so funny how there's so much of it, but so little of it is being taught.
Yes. Or it's the same little amount being taught all the time.
Every year. And it's funny that Black History Month is, it's only 1 month, and it's the shortest month out of all the months. So it's like, why are we so dedicated to just celebrating Black History Month in 1 month? I don't know. It's almost like people think that, okay, it's Black History Month, the month of February. Okay, once March 1st hits, there ain't no more talking about no more Black history, no nothing. You could probably go to somebody and ask them, have you learned something different each year in February about Black History Month, or have you learned the same thing every year?
It's a good question.
And I bet you think they're going to tell you, oh, well, they talk about slavery. Okay, well, what about slavery? And they'll sit there and tell you the same thing. They'll tell you about the same, they talked about Harriet Tubman. Okay, anybody else And they'll say, no, they don't know. It's the same thing in schools. They talk about the same thing over and over again. I don't know about schools now because maybe I'm not in school anymore, so I don't know about schools now. But I know when I was in high school, that's all it was. Half the time they didn't even want to talk about it.
No. Actually, right when I went to school, there was one teacher of history. He was a German guy. He was actually pretty good. Class in that. He taught a very, very good history class. And it's actually the only history class I went to school with. Here, when you actually see someone willing to go a little bit outside of what's just in the book. He's actually explaining things. He's actually telling you, okay, yeah, this is what it says here, but this is what really happened. In a little bit more detail, and it was strange looking around and seeing people's faces because they've never really heard some of the stuff before. It's almost like it's told, yeah, well, people were captured and they were doing work and they didn't get paid. It's like, yeah, there's way more details in that. Some of it is a little bit too graphic. Some people can't handle it, but are you going to tell people the truth, or are you just going to tell them, oh yeah, well, this happened. Yeah, and then people were free. They were set free. Now people weren't set free. That's a big misconception. People fought for their freedom, died for their freedom. And it's not only in the U.S., it's happened everywhere. It was a global thing. It was a global trade, a global job, if you want to call it that, a global practice.
Some of them just chose to die because they just couldn't deal with slavery.
Yeah, I mean, over 12 million people stolen. Over 2 million died at sea through suicide, being thrown overboard, to shipwreck, etc. Some people, even when they landed in whatever land that they were going to be enslaved, they just said, thanks. And they just couldn't swim, walked back in the water, and they chose the water over being in that type of situation, which it's a very tough thing to do, but you know what? Yeah, I would have. I mean, I can see myself being treated anyhow. It's foreign land, foreign people, foreign situations, not allowed to practice your culture, your religion, your language, separated from your family. You very much, not very much, 100% denied to even learn how to read and write. So how to love, how to do anything. Basically, everything about you was denied and deprived from you being yourself.
You know, that movie Antebellum really showed a lot of that. Like, it was all about that. Like, that movie really, if you haven't seen Antebellum, go watch it. That movie was like, it was so good. It was so good. And that really showed, like, what we went through. That was a really good movie.
Yes. A lot of other stuff you can watch too. But
Yeah.
Antebellum is really good. Shout out to Samuel L. Jackson. Enslaved, that 8-part series was huge eye-opening. That really went into detail. A lot of things were long ago, but we forced not to forget it. So, see that you're about everything or not at all. I mean, but we don't want to go all in negative, without the sad parts. Too many people talk about the negative. We talk about the positive. What does it feel like? What does it feel like being black here?
It feels awesome.
Yeah.
I feel great. I love being black.
You do?
Yeah, I really do. I love everything about it. I love everything about us. We're filled with culture. Like, filled with culture.
True.
And, like, we just share each other's culture. We all kind of intertwine together.
Yeah.
And I love that. I love how creative we are. We're smart people. We're strong. Like, we are very strong. Like, we're everything. I love it.
Yeah. And it's not that, we're anti anyone or anything. It's just, you gotta be about yourself and your people no matter what. You know what I mean? It's the only way. You gotta support your people. You gotta love your people. You gotta show love to one another. Especially in a time where everything else seems against anyone that look like yourself. You gotta really let people know, hey, everyone didn't like that. Don't run with the narrative that's always portrayed, whether it's in the media or just talked about at certain dinner tables or whatever. It's not always like that. And every race of people, every religion have good and bad. At the end of the day, we're all just humans. It's no difference, but certain things are just displayed or put a certain way. And then there are some people who have never really had any interaction with enough or anyone for that matter. But then that's just what they think. Oh, if the news said this, that's what it is. So that's what they go based off of, and then they teach their kids that, their grandkids that, and then you have generation after generation with misconceptions of other people. I actually know some people who, where they grew up, they've never physically seen someone of color before, not just black. And it just depends on where you grew up and who you hang out with. So I say, never keep the same friends. Be open-minded to listening, to hang out, to learn about different people, because sometimes you really change your perception. You see, we're not really that different. We may do things differently, sound different, but really it's just not much different.
Yeah. Like I said, I love being black. I just think it's sad, like, how we interact with each other sometimes, how we treat each other sometimes. I just think that's really sad, a sad part of it, because it's like we're just always in competition with each other, and it's like there's no need for us to be in competition with each other. Like, we've all been through some real things, so it's like, why are we competing against each other? Like, what is the point? Like, I find that, I'm trying to say, I figure out how to word this without it sounding a certain way, but it's like, I guess we were put to compete against each other, if that makes sense. We were positioned to compete against each other. We were positioned to tear each other down. Like, but we have to realize that that doesn't need to be like that.
No.
Like we are just, like I said, we're creative people. Like if we really came together, like how we could, like we just have that much strength, and I don't think people really notice that, really. And I can't stand it. Like I can't stand that we're like that with each other.
It's known, actually. It is known. It's just not being taught. It's just not being practiced, I guess is the word.
Mm-hmm.
Some people do, but usually whenever some people do, and it just ends up being infiltrated and destroyed, because then if everyone really knew and everyone really came together, then there wouldn't be any, people here and people up there.
Mm-hmm.
Really, when you think about it, I mean, what doesn't get influenced by Black culture?
Mm-hmm.
Talking about a genre of music that changed literally everything. People across the globe who don't even speak English know hip-hop music. It's everything that's really created by us. It's just an invitation for everyone else to come and learn and share, but we usually don't get control or the benefiters of the culture. And it's really sad. It's time we really start taking control of the narrative. Mm-hmm. Telling your own stories the way you want it to be told, the way it happened, not someone else.
Mm-hmm.
And if you go all the way back to rock and roll, you go back to instruments, R&B, reggae, dancehall, hip hop. It's just, even some other genres were created using the formula or the way the blacks made it happen. So it's, again, still good.
Then anybody can do something, that's fine. But you need to make sure that you recognize where you got it from. Like, don't sit there and act like you sat there, you made it up and it's all yours. No, you got that from somewhere. So recognize where you got that from.
Or not even just recognize, mainly pay people their worth. You can't take an artist. That's what happened with a lot of music labels since forever. You got people touring the world, doing city after city. They're the artists, they're doing the music, they're recording, they're coming up with their thoughts, they're writing. Some of them they're producing. And then they go, someone's doing well, they're touring the world, and they got a couple $100, a couple $1,000. These days, a rap artist may have like a couple $1 million, but you don't really know how much money is really generated by the music.
Mm-hmm.
And that's one of the things that Prince and Michael Jackson and those guys really stood firm on, and why they were so hated and, I guess, blackballed or portrayed in a certain way, because they said, hey, we're the artists. We create it. We put in the time. We do the work. You shouldn't own it. You can own a piece of it or you can help distribute it, but why should you own it and make so much money off of and control what I make?
Mm-hmm.
And how can you be upset at that? You shouldn't be. You should get paid for what you do.
Yes, that's just how it is.
It's one of the best business moves I've ever seen. Like I said, how much for publishing? Oh, that's a lot of money. But he got it though.
Make sure he got it.
No, he bought it, and then, certain people were like, oh, well, why did you buy it? I'm like, why? Because I'm some of the best songs ever made. Some of the best artists. But you see, he understood business. He understood what publishing meant. Whenever something is sampled, used, played, or whatever,
mm-hmm.
whoever owns it makes money, which is usually never the artist. So he understood that. He bought it for like $47 million, something like that, entire company.
Mm-hmm.
Sold half of it back a couple years ago for about the same amount. Then he ended up worth over $100 and something million. Genius.
Big boss moves.
You gotta do what you gotta do, man. Understanding the game is the problem.
Yeah.
Once you know how to play the game, you can play it. If you don't, then you just get picked off the bench, throw in there, and whatever happens, and then you come out. That's it.
Mm-hmm.
You gotta know the game, but the game isn't taught, and that's the problem. It's not taught. It's not taught properly. It's not taught everywhere. So people are just gonna keep in the pin screwed. It's like those contracts.
Mm-mm-mm.
You see that 60-page contract, and it's just like, do you accept terms and agreements? Well, how many people really is gonna read all of it? Yeah. Not only that, it's also something like the verbiage. You put words in there and things that only lawyers may have an understanding of it in the industry. So, well, yeah, I can read all of it, but I don't know what it means. So, what exactly are you really agreeing to? So that's something I think needs to change. Things need to be broken down in very layman's terms so that everyone can properly read whatever they're signing agreeing to. Whether it's an app, some type of business, a bill, or anything, and then they can say clearly to make a proper decision. Yes, I agree to this, or no, why not? Or when anything happens, you can't say, "Oh, well, I didn't know." Yeah.
And they will ask, "What did you read your contract?"
Yeah. Oh, did you read your contract? Yes, I did. I needed a lawyer because I had no idea what it says. And were you going to really get a lawyer to sign an agreement for an app? Probably not. To open a bank account? Probably not. So it's taking where they get you. And I actually had this issue a couple weeks ago. I called bank. Yeah, because I noticed that I was being charged my credit card. I was being charged advance.
Cash.
Cash advance. Cash advance. I don't take money out. So turns out anyhow you take money off of your card for any way, reason, how possible, you get charged for it. I said, well,
Every month.
I didn't know this. And I read through the stuff. He's asking, like, where's a full document on your website? Because everything isn't properly displayed. First of all, I can't even remember what percentage my interest rate was because it wasn't displayed anywhere. I'm looking for it. I'm just like, yeah, this is not cool. You guys should fix this. I should be able to log into my account and see 5%, 2%. I have to try to remember, wait, how much is the interest rate? Like, you guys should change that. That's not okay. So of course the guy told me, he's like, yeah, man, that's not the bank's fault. It's a 62-page document. I said, wait, first of all, that 62-page document, you thought I was going to read your 62-page document. The main things should be explained up front. It was not. So, and then, of course, and then so disrespectfully telling me, well, we can give you $25.
Oh, wow.
I said, wow, you know what? I would rather pay you all the money that I owed that was not intentional than take your $25. It's very disrespectful for your customer. But that's how you guys treat your customers anyways. So I said, you know what? The last person I spoke to, he was trying to make an effort to do something for me. He said, oh, we can't do anything for you. Look, no, not me. Like, it's not your company, first of all. So put me on with someone else, please. So he puts me on with the supervisor. The guy speaks to me. Normally, he's like, yeah, I totally understand. So I asked him, like, what all the ways exactly do you get charged for this cashback? So he tells me, anything at all. It doesn't matter if you actually take out physical cash, if you pay a bill, if you do a transfer to your checking account or whatever, it all counts. If you bought a lottery ticket, I say, wait, what? If you bought a lottery ticket, you're telling me that counts as cash advance? Yeah. Then you get charged an interest every month until that balance is fully paid back. So, well, if I knew all that, I wouldn't have my bills coming out of my phone bill or internet bill coming out of this.
You should have used lottery ticket as an example because you can't buy lottery tickets on a credit card.
Well, I think you can because that's he told me there's only 3 ways. If you actually take out cash, if you buy the lottery, or if you remove money at all from that account. So wow, it's almost, when you really think about it, it's like, what exactly is the purpose of this card?
To make money.
Yeah, that's not cool. Well, of course, that's how they make their money, right? Interest. So these are things should be right on your website, plain and simple. People can see.
Well, you think that if they made it in a way that everyone could understand, you think that people would sign up for credit cards? No. So they make it that way so that they know for a fact, like you said, they're not going to read it, they're not going to understand it, they're just going to sign it and get a credit card. If that was the case, if you understood what was going on, you didn't get a credit card, nobody would get a credit card, they won't make no money, and credit cards won't exist.
Yeah, or you could get it, but at least you know how to use it. And that's the thing, a lot of people don't know how to use it. They just think, yeah, I'll just use it, and then when the bill comes, I'll pay it. Well, by then, the interest already added on between, 16 to 19 days. The interest is calculated, and then some people make minimum payments. Well, you can't make minimum payments on a credit card because all you're paying is the interest. Now, your compound is still there or whatever you owe. So you do that every month, and then you look at it and go, man, why do I still owe so much? So you either double up on it or you pay it all full and then you take it back out again, but I didn't tell you that. But you see, that's the thing. You gotta, you gotta learn the game and know how to play it because they're playing the game with you. They're letting you, hey, oh yeah, here, take this. And then every couple months I get a message, you have been qualified for $5,000.
Yeah.
I'm like, yeah, I'll take it, but I'm not using it. So if you guys think you're gonna catch me, no. Yeah, I'll take your, but that's exactly why I use the cards because that's how you build your credit. Credit is very important. So.
Very.
It's like I explained something to someone a few months ago. He talks about like something simple as being followed when you enter a store. And then he goes, yeah, but this happened to me. I said, listen, man, I get it. You want to sound like you understand, but when it comes to racism and stereotypical things, you can't understand. You have to experience it. Certain things you have to actually experience to, when you got to worry about being in certain neighborhoods, how you look, how you dress, how you respond to people, you got to tone down your blackness, you got to do certain things. You go in the store, someone follows you, or, they're totally fine in that corner. As soon as you get to the other side of the store, oh, hey, already over there, pretend they're fixing stuff. But until you really go through those things on a very regular basis, you don't understand. And you never will. And it's okay. The most you can do is stand in solidarity, which is appreciated when you take the initiative because you're a human being. But I think if you have to be asked, then I'm not interested. Because then it's fake, it's forced. Mm-hmm. You just don't want to look a certain way. And if you care about optics more than morale, then what is the point?
I agree. I hate going to the store and then being followed by people, and it's like immediate. It's not even like they wait. As soon as you walk in the store, they're on you.
Yeah.
And you're just like, what do you want? Don't you have something to go and do?
Yeah, they got to fix the merchandise right in the aisle.
Yeah.
Or it was fine. It wasn't fine the whole time. But when you're there, you know what? Let me go fix it now.
It's like they think like this good customer service as soon as you walk in. Like as soon as you walk into a store, oh, hi, can I help you with anything? I literally just walked into the store. I couldn't tell you what I needed help with yet.
Let me look at least.
Yeah. And then they would say, okay, well, my name's so-and-so. And like 2 minutes later, so you finding everything okay? Like, I understand that, some stores, management, they push, reps to be like that. Like, they want you to be on people like that. But I don't think, you don't need to be like that. Like, if you ask me, if I need help with anything, I tell you, no, I'm fine for now. And you tell me your name, I'd be like, okay, cool. If you come and check back in with me 15, 20 minutes later, fine. But I do not need that every 2-minute checkup. It's not necessary. If anything, it makes me want to leave the store because it's like, okay, I can't shop in peace, so I can't be in here.
Yeah, that's why I usually go on my headphones.
Yeah, like you don't.
No, I don't act like I don't hear them. I don't hear them. If you ask me once, oh, no, I'm okay, thanks. Don't ask me again for the next 5-10 minutes. When people have ignored them, they probably think, oh man, that guy's so rude. Mm-hmm. It doesn't really matter. I mean, I can look around, I can read.
Every time we've been in a store and someone asks us if we help with anything and you respond, it's like you respond with like how your face looks right now. You're like, no, okay.
No, because you have to let people know. I mean, I get it. Some people are doing their jobs. I do respond respectfully usually, but sometimes you just know, like you can feel it. Or they tell you, oh yeah, if you want to help with this, whatever, it's fine. Let us know. Okay, thanks. They walk away, and the guy over at that aisle just seen and heard that. But he comes around like a minute after. It's like, real. What makes you think I'm going to say yes to you? It's still the last person. I don't need any help. Like, you can leave us alone so we can look around. If I needed your help, I think I would ask. I can read. Or sometimes just be the way people approach you. It's like it's like they have, right off the bat, they have no respect for you, but they speak to you a certain way. It's like, oh, first of all, you're not going to talk to me like that. Wrong person. Might be nice, might be quiet, but I respect everyone. I show everyone love. I expect the same thing back. When you don't do that, I'm sorry. You and I cannot communicate, can't have a conversation. Dialogue isn't going anywhere. And I usually remove race from anything. First of all, I remove it. Okay, maybe this person just having a bad day. Maybe just in a bad mood. Or, you never know what people are going through sometimes, but it's like, still, you gotta be mindful. I mean, you wouldn't like anyone to come up and speak to you that way, or your kids, or your wife, or whatever. So
yeah,
you're not gonna do it to someone else and think it's okay. And then they get so shocked when you respond, oh my gosh, like, no, you're gonna get told.
Yeah, because they don't expect a response, right? They just expect you to stay quiet. But it's like,
especially when you respond in the proper way, you speak to them accordingly. Yeah, that's actually fun. I have fun with that.
Yeah, like if someone's being rude to you and you're just overly nice to them.
Yeah, it happens. I mean, yeah, it happens. Actually, the last time I went to that wedding store.
Oh, don't get me started on that. I'm sorry, they say take race out of everything, but no, that was race. That was all race.
That's exactly why I said what I said to the gentleman. He came to us and he said hello and he was helping us look for something, and I said it out loud. And that way, I think it was 2 or 3 women.
There was 2.
The 2 women that was there, they were just looking at us as I explained how we were treated when we came in. And you can tell again, even if you do remove race from it, you can tell what it is, because someone else would have came over and say, "Oh no, that's not what happened," or "Sorry," or whatever. No, they just stood there and looked at us, and then yeah. So that just confirmed exactly what it is, because they helped others when they came in.
Like immediately.
Immediately. So you usually know what it is, but I think it's very disrespectful again whenever you explain how you feel or what you're going through with something, and then people just try to deny that. It's just like, "Oh no, that will never happen. Oh, that can't be it. Oh, you must be exaggerating. Oh, you're overreacting." Really? You think everyone just overreacts because we have nothing better to do than complain about how we're being treated? Come on.
It's just that people try to do things and they try to make it seem like what they're doing, like no one would notice, but it's obvious what you're doing. Like, we're not stupid. We can see exactly what you're doing. We know what you're doing. We're aware of what you're doing.
We've experienced it many times, so this is not our first time. It's not like we're some sheltered group or race of people. We're fully aware. Sometimes we may act like we don't know, just because it's just like, you know what, not up for dealing with it today. It's very exhausting.
Some days, so.
Some days it's just like, you know what, you're not even worth it.
Yeah. I think it's just, for me, it's just the energy. I just don't have the energy for certain things anymore. Like, if it's disturbing my peace, I don't want to deal with it. If you're going to be out here purposely trying to disturb my peace, purposely trying to get a reaction out of me, you're not going to get it.
And that's the other thing. Some people actually do that.
Yeah.
And then they end up being the victim.
Always. Oh, well, no, she came at me. No. And I that's what I don't like about people. They will always look at how you react to something, but they will never, ever think of what they did to make you react to it.
Yeah, it's just like when you're in the parking lot and someone hit your car door or something.
Ooh. Ooh.
But usually, sometimes I gotta be like, calm down, it's just a car. Because some people just really...
Yeah, it's just a car, but I mean...
Yeah, I don't like when people just...
You're driving it, and then they'll just hit it and they'll close the door and walk off. Excuse me?
Yeah, let's say sorry. Say sorry. I'm not expecting you to go inspect it, but at least say sorry. Come on. Remember one time I was in the parking lot waiting for some food. So this lady comes up, boom. But the window was down because it was summertime. So she looked over and she sees me. I expected her to say sorry. No. She just looks at me. She goes in the car. And then she rolled her window down. And she looked at me. And she just drove off. And I'm just there looking at her. And it's just like, really?
What do you think is the hardest thing about being a black man?
There's a lot of things. But I think the main thing is... How do I put this? I don't even know if there's a one word that you can put like as an umbrella. I would say respected, or just having to prove yourself. It's ridiculous. I mean, why do you need to always prove you're smart enough, you're technical enough? You know, everything just comes down to like 2 things: strong or athletic or rhythmic or something like that. It's like, well, you. And when you call it out, of course, it's, oh no, it's not what you're saying. Yes, it is. I mean, there's so many things you can call people of color, but it's always around the same 2-3 words. There are people who invented things, people who made things, and people who contributed not only just arts, but education and all that. So, both male and female. It's almost as if it's not something physical. You don't know it or you can't do it. Which clearly, if you really read some books and do your research, you would know the amount of things that people of color attributed to society and development of humans. But it's not pushed to the forefront. It's not talked about. You might hear 1 or 2 things again during Black History Month, but it's usually around the same. You know, you got the Malcolm X, Martin Luther, Rosa Parks, Harriet Tubman. Recently, you know, you've been hearing a bit about John Lewis. Of course, everyone only knows about the legend when he passes. You know, Sir Viv. You know, you don't hear about all these people. There's a lot more, whether it's military, whether it's through education, activism. There's a lot of people who do a lot of things, but you only hear about the few. So by only hearing about the few, some people look at it and they might think, oh, well, yeah, I didn't really contribute a whole lot. But you gotta do your research. You have to. What do you think? It's supposed to be that. hardest or most painful thing in being a black woman.
I think just being respected and being accepted. Because, I mean, it's not only just black women, but I mean, women in general.
Yes.
You know, being respected is a big thing for women. I mean, there's just so many areas that like we just don't get respected, especially in the work area. You know, we don't get a lot of respect in the work area at all. Whether it's, you know, pay, positions, anything like that, they don't look to women first. They always look to men first. You know, we don't get respected in sports.
Yes.
You know, there's a lot of things we just do not get respected, and we don't. And black women, like, they don't get accepted in a lot of places. They don't accept a black woman for who they are. Like, example, hair. You can't, a lot of workplaces don't allow black women to express themselves with their hair. I'm not saying wear loud colors like lime green or pink or stuff like that, but I mean, you know, I like to put box braids in my hair. Some workplaces don't like that. They don't like box braids. They don't like that kind of stuff. Your hair has to be bone straight or in a ponytail or, you know, something like that. Or if you're too curvaceous and your clothes look too sexy and all this stuff, like we can just never be accepted for who we are anywhere. And it's annoying. It's annoying. Like I don't want to ever have to go somewhere and not be myself. I don't want to have to pretend to be somebody else. And there's a lot of times you hear just black people in general, when they're in certain types of places, they change who they are. They change how they sound, how they speak to try to fit in. I don't want to do that. I'm not going to do that either. If you don't understand what I'm saying, then that's on you. Open up your ears and listen.
Yeah.
But I mean, there's so much other things that's hard when it comes to being black woman. There's so many other things, but I just think that being respected and accepted is top. Like it's hard to be that person. But I can say that we're definitely striving so much better now. We are putting our foot forward. We are talking. We are speaking. We are saying what we want. We are making sure people understand, you know, that we deserve respect and how they need to treat us. Now, you know, before we were very hush on it, and we didn't really say anything because, you know, we didn't want to get in trouble. We didn't want to come off this way. You know, we didn't want to come off as the angry black woman that they always say black women are, that we're always angry, which is not true. And I don't say that we're angry. We're passionate. That's what we are. We're passionate people. So,
and fed up,
yeah. So it's not we're the angry, oh, you're black women, you're always angry. Why are you black women always angry? And it's not about us being angry. Like, you need to like understand what it is and the reason why we are the way we are. It has nothing to do with angry. It's so easy for somebody to just put a label on you and just say, oh, she's black and she's angry, so don't worry about her. No, there's so much more to me than what you're sitting here thinking.
Plus, I mean, if you had to go through the same thing, you wouldn't be happy.
Exactly. And that's another thing. They don't understand how much we have to literally fight,
Yes.
like, to get a piece of something.
And that's what I'm saying. Until you experience certain things, some people just will never get it. And they're not interested in listening or learning. They just want to go, oh, well, this is what I heard, or this is what my parents told me, this is what I seen on TV, and that's what they go based off of. But since you'll never experience it, you'll never understand, oh, okay, I get it. This is why you are the way you are. This is why certain things happen.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it's PTSD. It's a lot of mental issues, trauma from way back when, generation after generation. And even to this day, even though we're so far ahead, we're still facing so many adversities. So it takes a toll on you. And sometimes you can do everything right, you still get cut down. So what do you do when you get upset? Some people lash out.
Mm-hmm.
And one of the worst things is trying to compare. You know, the black experience is a very difficult thing. It's nothing comparable. So when you bring up something to slavery and someone try to compare something to slavery, don't do that. That's not cool. You can't equate anything to slavery. Oh, I gotta do all this work. Oh, it's just like slavery. No.
Yeah.
If it's just like slavery, first of all, who would you be complaining to? You couldn't even say anything. You don't even have a voice. You didn't have control. You didn't have a labor board. You couldn't go and complain. Who are you gonna complain to? You didn't work for money. You didn't work for anything. You didn't have anything. You didn't even have your own last name, your own first name.
Mm-hmm.
Your religion, your legacy, your culture, your family, your friends. You didn't have a voice. You didn't have education. So please stop trying to compare everything to slavery. It's uncomparable. It'll never happen. Just don't do that. It's not cool. Actually, it's pretty disrespectful to our ancestors that you would even equate having to do extra work.
Yeah.
That you're getting paid for. Or, oh, they're only paying this. Oh, this is like slavery. No, it ain't.
Like, you don't need to make yourself look like, you know, You're like, oh, I love everybody. I accept everybody. I don't see color. I don't. You do see it.
Well, actually, don't see color is worse because now you don't recognize people. If you say you don't see color, it means you don't recognize people. I mean, what happens when you don't see something? Then they're not existent, right?
You're very right about that.
I just see you to pass by, and then you see someone following you from like further up or going behind you, and like they're running your plates and stuff like that. It happens. The plate's been ran many times, especially when I had the Mazda with the blue lights. Because like I said, it looks like, you know, they're probably thinking, oh, dark tints, blue headlights, probably someone who's going to be speeding, and so it's understandable. It's like they expect you, or you drive certain cars, they expect you might be some type of driver. Well, assume you're some type of driver. But usually I find is as long as you drive normal, you know, you watch your speed, you know, drastic lane switches and you indicate and stuff like that, you usually don't bother you. Even if they're behind you and they're running their plates. I find a lot of times people get nervous and then they start speeding up or something like that. And they look suspicious and yeah, you get pulled over. No, I haven't really had any. Except for that time when we were going to soccer. And that guy pulled us over. Because he was trying to catch someone else. That was just ridiculous though. He said, hey buddy, you need to pull over so you're on my safety. I'm like, you can't just put your lights on and start speeding. Like, put your sirens on.
Yeah, like...
If I didn't look in the rearview mirror, I would have never seen you were driving up. So how would I know to slow down? And then you put your hand on your gun and like, okay, what do you think I was going to do? Unnecessary, but you know.
Still unnecessary.
What can you do? Yeah. Respect is respect. And if you treat people properly, you'll get the same response. It's only logical. Obviously, not everyone's going to be like that, but we're humans. So, but I believe even if you treat people properly, you will get it back. So, until next time, make sure y'all stay safe, look out for one another, stay smart, stay on guard.
Yes. Okay, just mind your business.